Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC News, and NBC Sports, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon, YouMusic, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. And balance out all of the bad news out there. If you're looking for the headlines, not going to be here because most of them are negative. If it bleeds, it leads. Instead, I wanted to create a show that celebrated the good things in life, the good things in people, and the good things in co-hosts. So you can see it is Wednesday today because we have doctors in the house with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And if you don't know by now, she is a Renaissance woman in the flesh, U.S. Navy veteran, and I shouldn't say war, U.S. Navy. I don't.
Operation Iraqi Freedom. So I am.
Okay. So it fits. And licensed OBGYN. License sounds like license to kill. But she was on the other end of birth giving. She still maintains and is the doctor for her very large family and for me as well. She's an MD, which is why we say doctors in the house. Y'all know that I'm a PhD, which just stands for piled higher and deeper. And she's also now she has been a singer-songwriter and my favorite peach cobbler maker and a well-published and recognized children's book author. Please welcome back to the studio, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Always a pleasure to be here. I love Wednesdays because I get to see your smiling face.
Yeah. And let's see. Let's jump right into the breakfast sandwich, which is breakfast. That's what we have. And the top of the bun is things that we're grateful for outside of ourselves. And the bottom of the bun is things that we are grateful for inside, or appreciation, as Abraham Hicks says. So I will start. I'm grateful that I have this show and this particular series so that I can catch up. I don't let her tell me anything all week so that we can take it to the show, keep it live. So I'm grateful for the opportunity for the past 670 consecutive weeks to be here with y'all and on camera, on the air.
Well, I am grateful that I had the wonderful, fabulous opportunity to travel to Oakland and celebrate my regional conference. And it was an extraordinary opportunity to bond with my sisters of my sorority and just enrich our experience with the far western region of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Fabulous. I am grateful for my ability to travel. Flying on airplanes never gets old. I love my own takeoff game and landing game. I try to get people around me to give me $1 and we put it in the pool, and whoever's closest to countdown from 10 on ascending and descending, or not impact landing, wins the pool of dollars. Yeah, I'm a little nuts, but I've gotten people to play with me, actually strangers, which is kind of funny. All right. Let's see. What are you grateful for?
And I'm grateful that Mom T is celebrating another year of life. So happy birthday, Mom T.
Happy birthday, dear Mom T, who also is one of my favorite people because she's kind of crazy like me. Happy birthday to you. When's her birthday?
Well, today, but by the time this airs, it'll be last week.
Oh, let's see, that makes her a snake. This is the year of the snake, so she's a snake. And then what's the regular horoscope say?
I don't know.
Oh, you
Because
don't know.
I don't know
Oh,
what her.
today is March. I don't know either. We just know Leos. Leos only know Leos. Horoscope for March. What is it today? 4th?
March 5th.
I do not know. I thought yesterday was Saturday. Okay, so if your horoscope is March 5th, we should definitely not be proud of the fact. It doesn't even show. Let's see, Pisces. Pisces. Okay, she's a fish.
Ah,
Yeah, interesting. Is she gonna have a big party like you did?
she likes to keep low key, so we are having a taco party
Oh, at your place?
at Mark's.
Oh, at Mark's. I didn't get the invite. I'm usually invited to all of your fun things. Sorry. Yeah, I just like invite myself everywhere. If you're making the cobbler, I'm going. I'm sorry.
Well, I am not making the cobbler.
Okay, then I don't have to drive all the way out there. All right, one more gratitude. I am grateful for the beautiful chance to bond with my bonus sisters, even though it's for, it was sad. On one hand, my bonus mom passed on the 22nd of February. And then the silver lining, well, the big lining is that she's not in pain anymore. And that I have had a chance, all my sisters flew in and I got to spend a really fun week with them. Not fun, but close. And then yesterday, my bonus sister Debbie and I, my 3 favorite things in life: 1, shopping together. 2, my all of them pitched in and to thank me for the help in the last week with mom. My favorite restaurant, and it's incredible. And I'm not going to mention what it is until I get a promo from them. And then 3, we did a puzzle, and I love doing jigsaw puzzles. It's been a while, so the 2 of us did the entire puzzle in our new record, 500 pieces. We did it in 3.2 hours. So it's not a new record, it's our baseline record. So we both enjoyed that. So I'm super grateful for all of that.
Wow. I am grateful that my children are doing well and they are healthy. And I just love the way that they love me and that they show up to support me. And I know that that is such a simple gratitude, but I had a friend who just lost his son who was 23 years old. And I am very grateful that my children are doing well because everyone doesn't have that benefit.
Yes, yes, yes. Amen to that. And I'm sorry for the loss of your friend, for your friend. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is we're going to turn our gratitude inwards. I really believe, it's my BS, my belief system, that the foundation to good mental health is self-care, self-love, self-soothing. And so, but it is an activity that we're really not taught how to do. Many families are like mine, where you're not all that. In Chinese, the nail that stands up is hammered down. So humility above all. And as a result of that, many people have a tendency to either uh, get that feeling of being okay from, numbness, drugs, alcohol, whatever that is, or from looking for love in all the wrong places, or getting approval from others. And so I have taken it as part of my mission to help you exercise that muscle of self care. So I want to know what you like about yourself. Dr. Tiffanie started off.
I like the fact that I have learned to know when to pull back, because sometimes people will take advantage of your kindness and they'll take advantage of your generosity. And sometimes you need to know when to say when. And it has taken me a long time to know when to pull back. And it's okay to not be a doormat and not let people take advantage of you.
Yeah, good one. Sometimes I feel like I'm not just a doormat, but wall to wall carpet,
Mhm.
but no more. I appreciate my ability to make up words and be creative with my communication. And of course, lately, my practice in learning stand up comedy and continuing to hone that craft, and it's been a lot of fun. I've noticed that in learning anything, you have a learning curve, but it's also fun to go, oh wow, look at that, and oh yuck, I don't like that. But it's constant expansion. And I rarely do this. I don't think I've ever done this with you. I don't think I've ever done this on the show, but this is just a beautiful statement. I read from Ernest Holmes, this thing called You Before I Meditate Every Morning. And, just a couple of one page or a sentence, but this is: you are an eternal being now on the pathway of endless unfoldment, never less, but always more yourself. Life is not static, it is forever dynamic, forever creating. Not something done and finished, but something alive, awake, and aware.
Mm.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that is I appreciate my living that out in my life. I juice my life. I love learning new things. I love discovering new things. And hopefully you're all on my social, so you get a dose of that every day. Doc Balance on Instagram and Dr. Marissa everywhere else. Dr.
Mm.
Tiffanie, what do you like about yourself?
I like the fact that I'm able to pray for other people when they need that extra support, because a lot of times, especially now, people are hurting, people are lonely, and I think it's important to lift people up, especially in light of the fires. They have needs, and it's important to not be a me society, but to be a we society. And I think we should not just look within ourselves, but look outside of ourselves and place other people's priorities above ourselves at this time.
Fabulous. That's it for breakfast. Thanks for joining us this morning. I would encourage you. This could be a good life habit for you and a hashtag Blisscipline, because you can sandwich your day in the most positive way and feel good in the morning instead of doing this MS meaningless scrolling, where it usually makes you visit your piss offedness. So instead, have breakfast with us. Thanks for joining us this morning. And now for the topic of the day. Everything is awesome. Dr. Tiffanie, what did you choose for the topic today?
Well, I wanted to talk about emotional energy, because there's so much going on in the world. And when you look around, you can have informational overload And it can happen in your relationships, it can happen on your jobs, and it can just happen in life in general. So I figured it would be a good topic to address. And what do you think? You were about to say something.
Yeah, emotions. Na 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 na. I forgot the words, but I love that tune, Bee Gees. That's what I was gonna say.
And so,
Great topic, and my promo was emotional. You say that like it's a bad thing. And I'll start with that. That's the moose on the table. I'm glad that Dr. Tiffany picked this topic because we have a BS, a belief system that many of us grew up with, that you're too emotional. Don't be so emotional. Boys don't cry. Girls cry too much. You know, chill out, even keel. And so I was really happy when Inside Out 1 came out, the movie, and it actually made characters out of our emotions. And then Inside Out 2 added to those emotions, and that is a good sign. It's like, okay, we can talk about this, we can put the moose on the table, my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room, about emotions. Isn't he cute?
he
um
is. Yeah. And emotions are so important because it connects your body, your mind, your spirit, and your environment. And it is crucial. It is what connects you and makes you feel human. It is what distinguishes you from artificial intelligence. And it is crucial. It is what makes you human and kind, the humankind.
Absolutely. Take a guess at how many emotions there are. And if you're playing along, welcome to the people whose eyeballs I see rolling in. I know you're here listening, watching. Welcome to the show. If you're not driving and listening to the AM FM station, please do put your guess on how many emotions there are in the chat. Did you already look this up?
No, how many emotions are there?
Take a guess at the number. And this is from UC Berkeley. So a reputable source. Take a guess. And I wish I hadn't seen, because I would have wanted to take a guess, but I already know. It's actually my favorite number in roulette.
Well,
Do you know what that is? Have I told you to put $5 on it when you go
yeah,
to Vegas?
I
I
think so.
have?
I think so. 27.
Oh, you're so good. That is. Look at that. Categories, 27 categories of emotion. So admiration, adoration, aesthetic. Wow. Just read that. Look at that. That's just the
Mhm.
first number. I had no idea that that was so, the actual 27. I guess it's on Wikipedia, but yeah, there's a model of it. I had no idea. I love this. I love learning new things. So you can go take a look at that. All right. What did you do research on? Because I know you did.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. And basically, I wanted to focus on how emotional energy is experienced because we know that people go through emotions, and most of the time, we experience emotions within us, internally and externally. And a lot of times, we start when we're a baby because before we even know what they are, we experience hunger and we cry. So we have these intrinsic feelings and we respond to that intrinsic feeling by crying. And then our parents or whoever's taking care of us react to that, or we wet ourselves and they change our diapers because we're uncomfortable and they respond to that. And then we become adolescents, and then we experience all that myriad of anger and frustration, and we begin to grow. And as we mature, we develop more hopefully mature emotions. But our emotional energy can sometimes become draining. And as we become neutral, we can become we have to try to interpret our thoughts and try to give it some meaning. And I wanted to focus on how we navigate that and how we apply that to our lives right now, and with respect to our jobs and with respect to our relationship.
Awesome. So do you have a quiz today? I didn't
No,
ask you.
the
Okay.
quiz.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
I think it's my funny the things that pop into my mind when you were talking about that is uh the one emotion that everybody's really cognizant of is obviously anger,
Mhm.
right? And or my version of that is called pissed offedness. Pissed offedness. And I got that from I have to give credit, Dr. Michael Bernard Beck with my big brother. And it also reminded me of the signs at the DMV, which
Mhm.
say it is a federal it's a federal offense to what is it?
Like you sometimes use your cell phone when you get to the front of the line.
No, no,
And
no, no. It's a federal offense to harm. I'm trying to remember the words to harm a DMV employee, like or
oh,
a postal employee, and that expression going postal. It's really interesting how that one emotion, when you think of emotional, usually people, if I did a word association, it's sad or angry, right? Those are the top two when you think of, when you say someone's emotional.
mhm.
Which is I'm changing. I want to change that. I want happy to be the first emotion that comes to your mind.
Well, a lot of times people will have emotional energy blocks, and that can sometimes prevent you from experiencing your full range of emotions.
Mm,
And that was something that I came into contact with when I was doing my research. And we can also note that people learn how to treat us based on our how we how we allow them to treat us on our emotions. So say for instance, um, they use guilt. Sometimes at the holidays, and for instance, they want me to bake something and I don't want to bake it. But what if you don't bake it? We'll feel sad, or we'll starve to death. And during the holidays, there's all this food on the table. If I don't bake this one thing, they'll be fine. But they try to guilt you into doing things. Or if you're on a trip and one person is behaving poorly, you can either say, okay, in the future, I'm not going to take you on this trip anymore. And then you can decide, do you want to reward that bad behavior? Because if you continue to reward that bad behavior, they're going to continue to behave poorly. And how people behave, you you dictate how they behave. And if you continue to reward that bad behavior based on their emotions, you're going to have that negative feedback loop.
absolutely. That's a great um, point and point of understanding. It reminds me of that term that was not here when I actually got my degree in psychology, my first degree in clinical, and that is emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you're talking about, like how aware are you of your breadth or width of capacity on emotion, right? Like
Absolutely.
are you, I am drama, therefore I am. That to me says that your emotions are driving you, right? Instead of how balanced are you, body, mind, spirit, soul, so that you're not doing the knee jerk reaction, which usually makes you look like a jerk. Right. So if you're
Mhm.
triggered and the first thing is out of your mouth is an emotional reaction, probably you might want to take a breath, right? Count to 20. My dad would say, stick your hands in your pocket, smile, and keep your mouth shut, because usually that's the best strategy when you're triggered, right?
Mhm.
When someone gets your goat or pushes your button, hide your goat and hide your button.
Yeah. And even for instance, you have two people in a relationship, they're both high energy and they both love each other. And whether it's friendship, marriage, or even in a work relationship, and they're doing great. But then, say for instance, the kids start sucking the life out of them, and or the job is taxing, and then that energy starts to drain and everything. So then the energy is now low. They still love the job, they still love each other, but it's the same relationship per se. But is it really the same relationship?
Mhm.
Where do you go from there? How do you recharge that battery? Because
Mhm.
now they're not necessarily connecting with their work, they're not necessarily connecting with each other, and you have to recharge that battery. So that emotional energy is not necessarily the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, w- uh, what would you say your top three emotions are? So, this is like a very short my quiz that I use for people to gauge how emotionally intelligent they are. So, just close your eyes, or not if you're driving, but just think to yourself right now, what are the three emotions that you go to very quickly? So that's good self-awareness for emotional intelligence, because if you have no idea, that's a sign right there. Right? And if you and there's nothing wrong with that. That just means, how in touch are you with your emotional intelligence, your emotional health? So if you don't have a clue, I would challenge you for today to sort of write down, have a piece of paper, and every time you have an interaction, or every time you have, an emotion, to actually write it down to see what your top three are. Do you know yours, Dr.
Joy.
Tiffany?
I wake up with joy because I'm always thankful that I'm blessed with another day of life, because I always thank God for another day of life, and I'm always appreciative that I have the activity of my limbs, and excitement because I look forward to the day. Those are my top three.
My top three are, well, guess. See if you know how well. I was going to guess
Yeah.
yours too, but you went you went fast, so I couldn't guess. But I would agree. I would agree with you. Um, but definitely, I would agree with what you
Yours,
did.
your number one is happiness. Happiness, I would say joy, and I think excitement because you have a lot of excitement too.
Yes, yes. Joy, I would say, I was told by I had a panel on the air, and it actually won the award, an award, when I interviewed Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, Neil Donald Walsh, who's the New York Times bestselling author of Conversations with God, and Bishop Carlton, and they all said my number one adjective was enthusiasm, or enthusiastic. So I would say that's probably happiness, enthusiasm, and curiosity. Those are my, favorite go-tos every day. So
Yeah,
those are my top
yeah.
three. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I just found this, and I just wanted to say, this is what I was trying to say earlier, is it's kind of sad that when you're looking at types of basic emotions, look at like how unbalanced this is. Because if you think of baseline emotions of being I'm okay, right? And then the higher vibrating emotions, happiness, the first one, right? It's right up here, right? But then sadness is below, fear is below, disgust is way below, anger is way below, surprise is above. But look at that. That's 4 out of 6 are well below. And the attention and what news and the issue I have with media that I try to balance out with the show is that think about what the producers are looking for. Which one are they looking to, if it bleeds, it leads, right? What numbers?
I think they're looking for excitement and drama.
Okay, but am I sharing this now? Yeah. On this type of basic emotions. Which ones are you thinking there? That it's like the news producers are, and social media news, including media, the number one is either 5 or 6, followed very closely by 3. So anger, disgust, fear, sadness, right? Maybe hooking you is the surprise, something you don't know, right? And then the feel good stories at the end, which is the happiness, right? Like this demonstrates for me exactly, if people want to know why I do what I do, why I've been doing this for 670 weeks, why this is podcast number 1331. This is why, because I want it to be happiness and balance all of that other stuff out. And thank you. Someone just gave me the finger to recognize what I just said, and I appreciate that. So anyways, I'm going to get off of my soapbox. And we're going to take a break now because it is that time for news, weather, traffic, and of course, my thanking the sponsor for this particular show in the series. So we'll be right back. Don't go away. Chuck Woolery, who's on the other side with my bonus mom and my Chinese dad, says we'll be back in 2 and 2, but it's going to be faster than that. Peace in and peace out. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi, I am Dr. Tiffanie Tate, and I want you to pick up Money Matters. This is a story about 3 brothers who find $100 on their way home from the park, and they want to figure out how to spend it. It teaches about saving, investing, and tithing. Pick this book up today. The next book is Bad Touching. It teaches children about safe touching and how to protect themselves. Pick this book up as well. The third book is Little Engine Mia Sings. It is also available as an audiobook. It teaches children about bullying and how to speak up and speak out. All books are available on Amazon as well as Barnes and Noble. You can visit my website at www.drtiffanietate.com. Pick these books up today on my website as well as barnesandnoble.com.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, home to the Asian Oprah. We are number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. I actually just checked. My YouTube TV channel has now had 326,000 800 and some views, and we're so happy about that. I am so also very happy that we have the opportunity to stream live. I'm here every weekday morning at 9 Pacific, right after the NBC News, and we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course, Show Central, YouTube, TV channel. Please do free subscribe. Give me the finger, not that one, but this one. And then we get to interact with you. Good morning, Z Queen. I thought you were back there. I couldn't tell until you asked a question. A list of the 27 categories of emotion. Absolutely. I'll get that link and post it in the chat. And Dr. Tiffany's also giving you a good morning. I just love my life. We're talking about emotions. Emotions. I still didn't get the words. But Dr. Tiffany has, as usual, picked a great topic. And we're talking about the range of emotions. We're talking about the type of emotions. And I just ended the first half of the show with an appeal for media to do more of category 1 instead of always leading with fear, disgust, anger, and the shock and awe factor. So, Dr. Tiffany, what other research have you done?
Well, if you want to know how to build emotional energy, there are a few steps that you can take. You can develop some healthy physical habits, like taking time for yourself each day, because last year, I believe we talked about the journey to your center. And I think it's important to focus on yourself and renew yourself, relieve your stress. You also want to look at problems from different angles. You also want to practice gratitude, which is what we do, because it's important to renew that self energy. You want to explore your own beliefs about the meaning and the purpose of life, because it's important to release that stress, not keep it all stuffed in, because that just leads to sickness. And you want to tap into social connections and community, because being an island of one is not very helpful at all.
Absolutely. I've heard that negative energy, all of those things in that negative category, actually take up more volume in your being than positive energy. So that's why my coaching is not about being happy all the time. My model and the foundation of my work is feel your feelings fully, whatever that feeling is. As Dr. Tiffany just mentioned, that if you don't feel the negative emotions, you will literally hurt your physical body. They say that repressed emotions, push down emotions, unidentified or unfelt emotions can get infected, not just figuratively, but literally get infected inside of your body. And there's some research right now that is getting criticism, but trying to make it empirical to show that it can actually lead to chronic illness. Now, nobody wants to hear that I'm making myself sick and giving myself cancer. That's very insensitive and not accurate. You can be a happy person and still get cancer. However, it is shown that negative emotions like depression can lead to chronic illnesses like clinical depression, as well as affecting your immune system. Now,
Mhm.
that research is really clear. So, if you are a person that says, I'm a depressed person, I would recommend that you say you are a person who does feel depressed at times, because as soon as you label yourself as a kind of emotional and it's below that sea level, you are attracting then that feeling and situations that will continue to prove to you that you are. And that's the power of the law of attraction. So when I do coach, I definitely get you to step outside of that identification. You're not your diagnosis. You're not that one feeling. And so that's the point that triggered in me when you were talking, Dr. Tiffany. You absolutely have to take responsibility for your health, not in just your exercise, not in just in what you're putting in your mouth, but in what your emotional intelligence is. What are you doing with your emotions?
Yeah, and identify what is draining your energy. You have to plug the leaks, people. Learn to recognize what is draining your energy. What life situations is sucking the energy out of you. I call them energy vampires. We all have them in our lives, whether they are friends, whether they are family, even if they are your children. Sometimes you have to have separate space and a separate place and let go of those toxic people. If they're little children, you can't let them go. You gotta love them.
Yeah.
You gotta wait till they're 18. You can't get let them go, people. But
Yeah.
you those toxic situations, you can separate from them if they are adults. And so habits of the mind like worrying, guilt, indecisions, you have to try to figure out a way to navigate those things and work through those things because you don't want to keep harming yourselves. And there are things that we can do, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whether it's walking, whether it's talking with a friend, whether it's talking with a professional. There are things that we can do, steps to avoid to minimize these things. Second, identify what's going to fill your tank back up, because you can figure out what's bringing you pleasure to help renew you, help energize you, help refill your battery. Because whether it's prayer, whether it's watching a movie, things like I like to do. I love to watch a movie. I love to sing. I love to dance. These are the things that I love to do. So figure out what you love to do to help renew your battery, to help re-energize you and restore that energy. I can't tell you what's going to restore your battery. Only you know what's going to restore your battery. Dr. Marissa can't tell you what's going to restore your battery. Only you know what's going to do it for you. So if it's some alone time, if it's reading a book, if it's hanging out with your girls, with your guys, if it's going on a date, if it's going out with your mom, with your dad, I don't know, but you can figure it out. But recharge your battery.
Absolutely. And Mom T is in the house. You're going to have to rewind, Mom T. I actually sung you happy birthday earlier on in the show, but we're so delighted to have
Well,
you there.
I'll give her a quick happy birthday.
There.
Happy birthday to you.
Awesome. Let me get the hold on. Here it is. Here it is. So you got two birthday serenades today in the show, and you'll rewind to hear mine. Mine was a little funnier, but I'm so glad that you're in the house, and you just really are a beautiful person inside and out, and we want to recognize that. And we're talking about emotions, and Dr. Tiffany's been giving us some great advice on how to stay in that good feeling place, that good feeling person that you are around energy vampires or anything that is zapping your emotional well-being. I want to give this model that I'm sure I have before when we're talking about feeling things fully and fully being with that feeling to process it so it doesn't get infected and pushed down. I've been talking about baseline, even kill. We don't want to be even kill, because if you're saying I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, you're really like like inwardly. Emotions are what make us so interesting and alive and incredible. And so if you're just okay, and the old, let's just be even keel, I hate that expression. So because when you compress the bottom emotions, you don't want to be angry, you don't want to be pissed off in this, you don't want to be sad, you don't want to be, then you also influence your ability to be happy and joyful and ecstatic and enthusiastic and excited. All of those are here. And if you cut it up, you cut it down like a dumb waiter door. Those of you who don't know what that is, it's a old fashioned door that doesn't close and open this way. It closes and opens this way. So you're cutting out all the great emotions you could be and feel as a human being by cutting out all of those negative emotions. Now, I'm not saying that you go postal, sorry, anybody in the postal service, but that expression sort of elicits, what I'm talking about. We don't want you to, oh, I'm mad. You just said something that piss off at me and I'm going to just come back at you and blah, 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 and which is what's going on in social media, what's going on in mainstream news. So that is not what I'm saying. Please balance it out with balance, which is, oh, that did not feel good. And this is, I'm going to do some graduate school here. Dr. Tiffanie said, take time for yourself and don't, put yourself as a doormat, or I say wall-to-wall carpet, and letting people impact you negatively for negative emotions. My next step is, if you can do this is graduate school. Nobody can make you feel anything you do not want to feel. What? They're pissing me off. No, I'm choosing to be pissed off at what they said. Now that's it's not a spiritual bypass where you're like, I'm fine. Fine stands for effed up, irrational, neurotic, and emotional. That's not what I'm talking about. But you can choose your emotion. And this is the thing that I've been teaching lately. The course I taught at UCLA in the fall, personal mastery. This is advanced. If you are able to, someone's like literally tells you you are worthless. Okay. Now, if someone told me I'm worthless, you better believe I'm going to go, I'm going to say, and if I look like you, I'd be miserable too. But I don't say that out loud. I may say it in my head. And I just go, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. And then I'll leave. And I have a choice at this point to go and call my friend or call someone and just, unload and then criticize them or lambast them, or worse, go on social media and say something publicly about them. That's my choice. Or I can go for 16 seconds and be really, really mad because that's what triggered me. And then take a deep breath and go, whew, I'm glad that's over. And I choose not to give any more time to an emotion and to a person that is not worth time, which is my most valuable resource in life, right? Non-renewable. You can't get. That's graduate school.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think you're absolutely correct. And when you look at life, like you said, you are responsible for your own emotions, and nobody can make you feel how you don't allow them to make you feel, because you are responsible for your emotions. And here are a few ways to release repressed emotions. One, acknowledge your feelings. Always acknowledge your feelings. I can't tell you not to feel a certain way. They are your feelings. That's number one, because you feel how you feel. If I say I am angry, I can't say, no, you're not angry. You're happy. No, if I'm angry, I'm angry. No matter what Dr. Marissa says, Tiffanie, no, you're not angry. I feel how how I feel. And it's kind of like I said what I said. So acknowledge your feelings. It's okay to feel. Again, that's what makes us human. It differentiates us from AI. Acknowledge your feelings. Think them out, express them, and move on. Number two, work through whatever trauma you're dealing with. Number three, try whatever shadow work you need to do, whether it's journaling, whether it's exercise. If you have bad knees, bad hips, bad ankles, walk, swim, whatever you got to do to deal with it.
My
Number
hips
four,
don't lie.
that's
I
right. Make intentional movements, whether it's thought processes, whether it's meditating, whether it's reading. And number five, practice stillness. And that stillness can be whatever you want, whether it's deep breathing, whether it's thoughts, whatever it is to get through the moment. Practice that. So, those are 5 ways to help get through some repressed emotions and repressed feelings to process whatever it is you need to do to get through your emotions.
Beautiful. I'm reminded of Thich Nhat Hanh's beautiful analogy. If someone comes and burns down your house, which is, anger, resist your urge to go run after them and burn down their house. Instead, turn around and put the fire out in your own house. And
Mhm.
definitely it is feeling it, but then don't marinate or ruinate, is what I call it, in that emotion. Feel it fully and then let it go. Feel it fully and then choose another emotion. I think that's so important. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of times we're tempted to slip into emotional numbness,
Mm.
and we want to avoid that, especially now with everything going on in the world. There's this I don't care at all. And we don't want to not care because it's important to care. We need to care.
Mm.
It's our responsibility to care.
And it's balance. The overdoing either way is not good for anyone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like the opposite of even keel is balance.
yes. That's part of
Yeah.
the show. Get balanced.
Really, Dr. Tiffany?
Oh,
Shocker. And if you're saying worry, I thought of this earlier. Some people say, I was born a worry wart. My mom's a worry wart. Our family has a history of being a worry wart. And it's like, no, 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 no. You are probably law of attraction attracting that as something that is going, to be foremost in your mind. But let me cure you of your worry wartedness. That my favorite Native American saying, Dr. Lee, is living in the worried prattle of your head is like sitting in front of the Grand Canyon with a paper bag over your head. And I just misquoted that. That actually is a Tibetan saying, but here's the Native American saying, which is worry is like a prayer for bad things to happen. So we do not want to be a worry wart. There's no glory with being worried all the time.
well, I want to say that
Final word.
my final word is feelings are something you have, not something you are. And according to Bob Marley, you never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. Yeah, mom.
Yeah, man. Great question. I don't know if we have time to answer it fully. It's right now. What time do we have? Oh, it's okay. How can you tell the difference between clinical depression and being a worry wart?
Well,
Um,
I can quickly answer that. There's a quick little mnemonic, SIGECAPS, SIGECAPS, and clinical depression, suicidal ideations. That's the SI. problems concentrating, and anhedonia, problems sleeping, problems with eating. And if you just have problems with weight loss, problems with anything like that. So any of those things, and I can put it here and here.
That definition, that's a great definition, and that's why I have Doctors in the House MD definition. I'll give you my happiness coaching definition of what's the difference in my experience and in my studies and practice of both New Thought, Ancient Wisdom, as well as Law of Attraction. Worry is just a habit. And if you are really good at your habit, if you continue to pay attention and to feed that habit, it will become a diagnosis. And that is why I'm so encouraging people not to identify with the diagnosis. You are a person who feels and experiences those things, and you can, by the power of choice, choose to not further that habit. So that's my final word and definition. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. We are in the final ramp down here, and Dr. Tiffanie is going to put the definition of Siggy caps up, which is great. Hopefully, Z Queen, that answered your question. Thank you for being the captain of the Cashew Gallery this morning. It's always wonderful to be able to interact with you. Encourage you to come on every weekday morning, and especially on Wednesdays when it is time for Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And there it is, the Siggy caps: suicidal ideations, guilt, decreased energy, anhedonia, and problem sleeping, not sweeping. All right, that's it for today's show. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Wishing you the best day
ever.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.